Ralph Osterhout, thanks for joining us.
The pleasure's mine.
Who's going to want to wear effectively a computer on their head?
It's only a question of time before everyone will, and forget us. It's just going to happen worldwide as a phenomenon that can't be stopped.
So why is that? What is it about augmented reality? I mean, you referred to it as being the coming technological tidal wave, but then again, you are selling these things.
Well, take me out, because my opinion really doesn't matter, but let's just talk about the harsh realities. If your hands are free and you have the power of the fastest tablet or smartphone on your head, so it is in effect a smartphone, and you can be anywhere, anytime, running, walking, riding a motorcycle, a bicycle, or driving a car, and you have access to any information anytime, how is that not somehow extraordinarily empowering?
So can you put them on to show us what they look like?
Sure.
So how do you actually control what you're seeing in the glasses, on the screens behind the glasses?
Well, there are controls here. There's controls here underneath the temples on each side, but another way is there's a lovely little thing that looks like an oversized signet ring you slip on your index finger, and with your thumb moving around, you move a tiny optical mouse that's all wireless, and you can essentially select any application you want on the screen, move your cursor around just like you would with a mouse on a screen in front of you on your desk or on your TV, no difference. But the thing is all wireless.
Okay, thanks, Ralph. You better take them off for the rest of the interview so we can actually see you.
I thought I'd look much better with them on, but here we are.
Now, your pitch for these things includes a mum with 2 kids in tow, doing her online banking while checking her emails simultaneously, bringing up a recipe as she walks through a shopping centre. Now, do people really want their actual reality interrupted by augmented reality?
You can see your environment perfectly. There's nothing obscures it. It's just that you also happen to also be information that's layered on, that's translucent. So you can see through it perfectly. It doesn't object or obscure in any way anything you're doing.
There's a lot of crossover in your device from the technology you developed over the years for the military and the security forces. Facial recognition technology is one of those. Now, why would ordinary people need to have facial recognition technology?
Well, let's think of 2 things. First of all, we all like to imagine we're very bright individuals and have fabulous memories. But if you happen to be a social person and you happen to have a lot of friends and you haven't seen people for a while and you bump into somebody on the street that you've met or had the pleasure of being introduced to in the past, but you can't remember the name, but you know their face looks familiar, how lovely is it that automatically, anytime you've met them in the past, your glasses, of course, take their picture and store it in memory, along with any association that you mention verbally when you're meeting them, or you enter into it with your Ring controller, because you, of course, have a virtual keyboard as well. But nobody sees anything. It's nice and absolutely inconspicuous.
Didn't Google Glass run into serious privacy problems because of the way they tried to use facial recognition in a similar device?
Look, I would say this. Google did something brilliant. They decided to make the concept of head-worn to become ubiquitous and well-known worldwide. For that, I give them absolute credit. When you're talking about putting head-worn on somebody, the most important thing is to say, what does it do for the human being? Does it make a material contribution to their lives that improves them, or is it an annoyance? And I think the real thing that our feeling is personally is that you have to make a major contribution to the well-being of people and to the ease of their lives, or it's not useful. And things that are not useful would be discarded by anybody, anywhere, very rapidly.
Ralph, you do imagine people using these AR glasses while they're driving their cars, but wouldn't it end up being made illegal in the same way that using your smartphone while you're driving is illegal?
Well, let's just talk about that for a minute. When Henry Ford first memorialized the concept of wheeled transportation and made the Model A's, they didn't have a dashboard, they didn't have fuel gauges, they didn't have tachometers or anything, but people bought them. Very quickly they found out, well, you know, the idea of knowing when I'm going to run out of gas is not a bad idea. But nobody sat there and drove their Model A's and stared at their fuel gauge or speedometer. They learned very quickly. You glance at it inadvertently, away you go. The sheer fact of the matter is people, all human beings are capable of multitasking overtly or unconsciously with remarkable accuracy and safety. So we have transportation, every single car today almost have a navigation system in it. And they tell you don't look at it when you're driving. Now what good's navigation going to be if you have to pull over the side of the road and look each moment to figure out what's next? Now nobody pays any attention to the warning because that's just to protect people who make the cars. The sheer fact of the matter is you see the information, your eyes glance at it momentarily as you continue to drive safely. So we know human beings can do it, and to think they can't do it when the information is translucent up on a windshield or in front of you, but it doesn't obscure your ability to see, but it doesn't mean you look away from the road. Anybody that thinks that's not a better idea needs to have medication.
So I've also heard you talk about a kind of X-ray vision technology with the glasses. This is what you call the micro Doppler technology. It was developed for the military to allow soldiers to detect a human heartbeat even behind a solid brick wall. Now, I'm just wondering, has that been proven, that technology has been proven on the battlefield?
Oh, no, it absolutely works beautifully. In fact, we can look literally 100, 150 meters away and watch this person moving around through a building. Now, you don't see their form. You see their beating heart and you see their lungs expanding, contracting, because Doppler radar, of course, detects movement. So you absolutely can do that, and you go one step further. Imagine someone shooting out of windows and running from window to window. You not only can see where they are, you can go one step further. We have the technology to be able to detect the actual path of the bullet through free space, through the air, and render it instantaneously, virtually in real time, so you see a streak of where the bullet has come from and be able to determine the location of a sniper or shooter. And we all know of tragic situations that have occurred that it would be extremely helpful to know where someone is shooting at innocent people.
Ralph, I do recall you got in a bit of strife with the Pentagon general when you first developed this kind of X-ray vision technology, and you referred to it as the Burke Buster.
You know, they said you do that, they could cause you know, a conflict with the Muslims. Well, obviously I have lots of Muslim friends. You're not trying to look through someone's clothing or exposed to the private parts of any sex. That's not the point. If a person's carrying explosives underneath their garments or weapons, if you can detect that but don't invade their privacy so you see their body, but just things that are not part of their body, that can be extremely useful. You're not looking for a cell phone. You're not looking for a pencil. You're looking for strapped-on explosives and dynamite and pipe bombs and things that can kill innocent people. That technology exists, and we have it.
Now, you're going to face a very competitive market for your device. Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg has put a huge investment into virtual reality devices, the Oculus Rift. Now, he's punting on virtual reality over augmented reality. Who do you think is going to win?
Well, two things. Who can't admire the work that Mark's done and the fact he's committed to head-worn, which is where it's at. Look, virtual reality and augmented reality both have their places. You know, look at it this way. Virtual reality lets you create an imaginary world and lets you play games that don't exist and all, which is fun, fantastic, and exciting for gaming, for travel, and such. But when you're talking about what's the most empowering thing in our day-to-day lives, it's the ability to call up and show, without obscuring someone's vision, any information anywhere in the world in real time. You tell me, if you're in Africa, India, South America, anywhere in the world, how about the fact you can get your college education and have access to any information in the world that's available on the internet, essentially immediately. And so now college, which is prohibitive to so many people for their children to have your education online here and now, how can that not empower and transform life everywhere in the world?
So could the bigger challenge actually come from Google, which is backing the Ronnie Abovitz team with its kind of mysterious Magic Leap technology that no one seems to know about? Do you know what Magic Leap is?
Look, very few people have seen it and know about them. Here's my feeling. I think it's wonderful that anybody who's trying to push the state-of-the-art in technology, I admire and have nothing but respect and support for all of them. And the world is big enough. Let's look at it this way. If your nose, ears, eyes, and your communications means your mouth are conveniently always located on your neck up, where wouldn't you put head-worn computing and display of any and all kinds? It's a no-brainer. Anybody thinks that head-worn will not be the next big platform after smartphones and tablets really needs medical care, really.
Well, actually, I've just read a financial analysis suggesting $150 billion is soon going to be invested in or flowing from head-worn technology. And the vast majority of that, it's estimated, will come from augmented reality devices like yours. Now, you call this the garden of technological delights. How big could it become? How much could this overtake our lives, in your view?
Oh, well, let's put it this way. 150 billion is a wonderfully conservative number. Let's put it this way. Anybody who's in personal electronics and is not chasing and planning to be in head-worn computing and display, AR and VR ultimately, in each of their place and all, someone needs, I'm just going to tell you, those that are in it and committed to it and do it right will run naked through the streets of opportunity, trust me. So 150 billion, I think that's child's play. 3x it, 4x it, you won't even believe what will happen to you. It will create industries you don't even know exist today. It will transform education, it'll transform medical care, sales, logistics, maintenance of aircraft, planes. Forget that. How about automobiles, scooters, motorcycles, everything? What can't you learn if you have any information you can have access to in front of you and your hands are free to do whatever you wish? Oh my.
Ralph Osterhout, I can see why they call you the Q of technology after the James Bond character.
Do I look that bad? He was a lovely guy. I hope I don't look that bad yet.
Okay, we've got a government here that wants to push innovation, and you're clearly one of the great innovators in the world. We thank you very much for taking the time to join us.
It was my honor. Can't wait to come down there and see everybody in Australia again.